Hello, my name is Joe. Welcome to the Brain Injury Association of North Carolina's virtual camp 2021. We're all here together remotely. Welcome to my home. My name is Joe. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. We're going to be together for the next approximately 50 minutes or so to engage in some nice exercise routines. So I want to help you get oriented first. If you say something, I will not be able to hear you. That's part of this particular virtual experience. We'll see if the light can be a little better. So relative to seeing me, we've structured this out so that we're going to have this exercise routine will be entirely seated. So for those of you who are participating in your wheelchairs, there will not be a standing portion of this. And for those of you who don't ever use a wheelchair, think of the number of hours that you sit per day in various different seats. Let me help you get structurally organized here. Try to have a shirt that gives you some flexibility and movement, a t-shirt, not a button-down t-shirt or a tie. A nice kitchen or dining room chair is good. This one doesn't have any arms on it for better for the movement of the arms. For those of you that have wheelchairs, that's perfectly fine. We can facilitate that. A nice structural soundness. We want to feel secure, stable, and steady. And when you're seating, can you have room to move your arms on both sides of you and you're in front of you, and also to move your legs in front of you. And a nice thing about a firm, steady seat down here is a hardwood chair. It's not going anywhere from a structural support standpoint. If you're in a couch or a lounge chair or a rocking chair, please give yourself permission to locate a better, sturdier wooden chair in your proximity there and to get situated with that. And if you need to take off a shirt that's binding or restrictive of your movement, there's not a rush. We want to relax and spend time together. It's likely that you received in the mail a TheraBand, which is our resistance band. They're red, and just have that handy for you. We'll have an opportunity to work with that. If you don't have one, that's perfectly fine. You do not need one. If you're the kind of person that likes dumbbell weights, once again, you do not need these. But if you have them in your house, you might think about, hey, I can take what I learned today and I can use my dumbbell weights during other times. If you have no dumbbell weights, but I actually have pineapple, but some people have soup. Some people have vegetables or fruits. These can work as weights too. From your kitchen, very practical. You don't need those, but just know we try to be as useful as possible and practical. At one point, we'll be resting a little bit later, and I'm going to read you from a script here for relaxation and in an attempt to just be with yourself in the moment. So know that we'll go through many different attributes here as we go through the program. And we're all together, each of us in our own homes. So here's the mask that my wife made for me 18 months ago. She's good with, she knows how to use a sewing machine. Boy, I've gotten a lot of good use out of this. It's still in great shape, and I'll continue with it until the pandemic is well past in history. But we won't need that today, of course. What we'd like to do from a beginning standpoint is just to really start to get settled into your chair. And to know that my name is Joe, and I had my brain injury 20 years ago. The 20-year anniversary was just last month. It was a bicycle ride, and I wasn't in a circus, but I completely flipped over, landed on my head. Thank God for helmets. That helmet dissipated a good percentage of the impact, so my brain injury was mild. Thank God. Subsequent to that, I started to learn, like you're learning, how to do things all over again, what I could do, what I couldn't do, to the best of your ability. be with each of the applications that we go through here, recognizing what comes natural for you, you have an innate gift for, perhaps your body's really good at. Those things that are outside of your reach, can you accept that as a fact in this particular moment? After my brain injury, some things I was able to let go instantaneously. Most of the things I had to fail multiple times and really be with that experience and with my heart and ask myself, how important is this for me to have this attribute for the rest of my life? And some are even difficult to this day. I used to lead trips out in nature, and I just had like a compass in my consciousness. I always knew where I was and where I was going. I don't have that anymore. And so it's sad, but there's elements that are sadness that are within us also. Let's honor and respect ourselves for where we are in the moment. One of the tools that I used coming after the brain injury to understand myself was yoga classes. And I took yoga 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. And it offered me an opportunity to do something with my body and then to figure out what I could do and what I couldn't do, and then to the best of my ability to accept those things that were beyond my range. So let's be together right here and right now. One of the things that we like to do here to begin is a breath routine. The breath helps us to be with ourselves. The more you can love yourselves, the better. And if you're not ready to love yourself yet, then please be kind and make a friendship with yourself and your physiology. We start with a 3-part breath. And we're really going to focus on both the breath and the physiology. So as you inhale, really fill those lungs. And as you exhale, can you literally push the air out? Inhale, let the belly expand. As you exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, push the air out. Notice the belly come in. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, push that air out. A couple more at your pace here, just trying to be relaxed as you can. And notice that your lungs are way up high. But when your lungs expand, they push on the diaphragm, and that pushing down causes the belly to go out. Next, exhale as you push that air outward. Second part of the breath. Next, inhale, fill the belly and the rib cage. And as you exhale, notice those two spaces getting smaller as you push the air out. Inhale, fill the belly and the rib cage. Exhale, go ahead. Push that air out. Keep going. Inhale, fill the belly and the rib cage. Exhale, push that air out. Just a couple more. As you notice how this feels in your physiology. And you're actually getting taller and grander during the inhale. And we're shrinking down just a little bit during the exhale as we push all that air out. Next time you push the air out from the belly and the rib cage, we're beginning the third part. Inhale, fill the belly, the rib cage, all the way up to the collarbone, which is above your heart. Give your heart some more space. Exhale, push that air out on the collarbone, the rib cage, and the belly. Next, inhale, fill the belly, rib cage, the collarbone. Exhale, put some intention into thrusting that air out. Just a couple more. Notice how it feels, your awareness of your physiology. And I totally respect the fact that maybe you've never done this before. And you're recognizing my breath is just autopilot. It could use some guidance in getting the best outcome possible. And that best outcome is a full inhale, full exhale, a balanced equality to the inhale and the exhale. It helps the body relax when it gets when it gets everything that it needs. Last exhale, go ahead and push that air out of the belly, the rib cage, the collarbone. We're going to remain grounded here, and I'm going to walk you through some exercise, and to the best of your ability, try to follow along with the breath. You don't have to, but plant the seed that that's a good thing. So your feet are nicely planted on the floor, hopefully relaxed down there. Your sit bone is grounded here in the chair. You have a sense of feeling vertical from your sit bone all the way up to the crown of your head. We're going to do a gentle neck rotation. Inhale, feel tall, all the way up to your crown. On the exhale, can you look out over a shoulder? Be gentle here with your range of motion. Can the inhale bring your chin back to center so you're looking at the screen? And can your exhale take your noggin to look over that other shoulder? And the inhale, bring you back to center. Follow your breath with the movement, please. Exhale over shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale over the other shoulder. Inhale back to center. Just pause here for a moment and just notice the sensations that might have been enlivened to you in the cervical area of your body. We're going to work through the whole body to the best of our ability. Next exhale, I'd like you to bring your chin down towards your chest, like you're looking at something down there on the floor near your toes. We're going to do a mini tiny roll here. It's called a quarter roll. We're going to try to bring an ear in the neighborhood of its shoulder during an inhale. So as we inhale, guide an ear in the neighborhood of its shoulder, a little side tilt here. As you exhale, the chin comes back toward the chest, so you're looking at something down there on the floor. Maybe you have something on the floor. Inhale, that other ear comes in the neighborhood of its shoulder. Exhale, back down. Chin comes toward the chest. Let's go one more on either side. Inhale, drawing to one side with the ear. Exhale, coming back to the center point. Chin is towards your chest here. Inhale to the other side. And we exhale back down again. Chin towards the chest. The next inhale, let's bring our naga. Let's bring our head back up to the neutral point so it's nicely positioned above our spine here. We're going to work with the hands next. We're going to rotate the hands around the wrist. So I like to bring my hands upwards here. Kind of open up those palms like you're going to give somebody, not a high five's up here, a low five. We're going to rotate those hands around the wrist. And can you be aware of how this feels in your forearms, your wrists, hands, your fingers, and both your thumbs? Just notice. Our hands do most of the things in our day-to-day life on autopilot, unless we're learning a new assignment. Pause for just a moment. Now we're going to reverse that. Go in the opposite direction. As those hands once again rotate around the wrist. Just a couple more times. Just being with the sensation of how it feels. One more. And then can you open up your palms towards the ceiling? So each finger is as far apart from its companion finger as possible. And can you pretend like you have one of those little squeezy balls or a sponge, and you squeeze it in like a fist and then squeeze it tight, get all the water out of that sponge, and then flick that water out of your hands. Squeeze another sponge, get all the water out, and then flick it out. 3 more times. Inhale, you squeeze the sponge, draw it in. Exhale, you flick it out. Inhale, you squeeze the sponge, you draw it in, you flick it out, and you have one more. Squeeze in, flick out. Flick, flick, flick. Get all that water off of your hands, your fingers, and both those thumbs. Really get it out. When you feel comfortable, relaxed there, go ahead and allow your hands to come back on your upper legs there and just relax. We're going to check in next with our shoulders. And what we're going to do with the shoulders is we're going to draw them forward. We're going to press them up towards the ears. We're going to push them back, and we're going to let them drop down. Forward, up, back, and down. One more. Forward, upward, back, and down. Just pause here for a moment. Now we're going to reverse that. Our shoulders are all the way back and down now. So draw them up towards the ears. Bring them forward, down, press them back. Up, forward, down, and back. One more. We go up, come forward, let them draw down. Pause here for just a moment. Notice where you feel this in your physiology. I feel it grandly in my upper back. Now we need to situate the shoulders and get them back to their natural rested position. Go ahead and take them up. Take them all the way up towards your ears. Push them back. Push them all the way back. Let them drop down into their natural rested position. And hopefully you have a nice alignment feel here. We're going to do torso circles next, which means we're going to hinge down here at the hip crease. In order to do this, I'll turn 90 degrees just for a moment, just to show you something. If I lean back right now, my back hits the backrest. I'd like for that to not happen. So I'm going to move my sit bones forward on the chair just a few inches here. So when I lean back, my back doesn't hit the backrest. We're going to go around in loops right now. Come back facing towards you. I'm going to hinge forward at the hip crease. I'm coming towards you. You probably can't tell. I'm going to guide over to a side, round to the back, not hitting that backrest, over to the other side and forward. Round to the side, back, other side, and forward. These are called torso circles. We're going to make one more journey fully around here. And when you come back forward, just pause here for a moment. We're going to reverse those torso circles. Go the other side, round to the back, side and forward, side, round to the back, side and forward. We have one more here. Just notice your range of motion. Also notice your balance and how grounded do you feel down there in your sit bones, down in the seat of the chair. When you come forward on your next inhale, go ahead and come back to the best of your ability to fully vertical. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate our feet around our ankles like we rotated our hands around our wrists. So I'm going to turn at a slight angle here, so it might be better viewable for you. I'm going to move my bum back on the chair here. I want more support for both the bum and the upper legs. Then I'm going to lift my feet up into the air here. And the stronger I get, the more I can have my legs parallel to the floor. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer. What we're going to do is rotate those feet around the ankles. So both my feet are rotating down there. And I'm just trying to be as calm as possible while the rotation happens, and focusing on the energy and effort in order to accomplish this. One more loop in this direction. Go ahead and pause for a moment. Reverse that direction you're going. Reverse the direction both of those feet are going. Notice what this does to heat up the quadricep muscles that you have up here in your upper legs. They're the ones that are working hard in order to keep those legs kind of parallel to the floor. One more loop in this direction. Now we're going to check for our flexibility. Can you flex down there so your toes are pointing up towards the ceiling? And then can you point them out and away to the wall on the other side of the room? Go ahead and flex them back up, pointing towards the ceiling. Pointing out and away. Flex back up towards the ceiling. Pointing out and away. We just have one more here. Pointing up towards the ceiling. Flexing out and away. Now in slow motion, can you gracefully, gently, and ever so slowly draw those feet back underneath the knee? And notice how your upper legs have dramatically warmed up because we've used the quadriceps. You probably, something that you might not be doing during commercials on television, but you could. If you'd like to get your upper legs warmed up and really work those muscles. We're going to work on the spine next, and there's 4 movements that we do with the spine together. The first one is the lateral movement. So I'm getting as best grounded as I can from my sit bone to my crown of my head here. Stop trying to feel vertical. I would like my shoulders to stay aligned with the physiology. What we're going to do is, I'll start first lifting up one arm to frame the ears. I want you to pretend it's apple season like you're in Western North Carolina, where I live, where all the apple orchards are, and you're going to go out and pick apples. On the exhale, you're going to lean over, reaching that arm up high and over, up high and over, up high and over, trying to get an apple. On the next inhale, you're going to draw back to the center point. Oh, wow, I didn't quite get that one. Next time, on the exhale, lean over and up, reaching for that imaginary apple. Oh, didn't get that one either. All right, third time's a charm. Here we go, third time. Exhale, hinging over, you're reaching up and over. You're reaching more up than over. Get that apple, draw it back into center. Let's bring the other arm up. So both arms are framing your ears here. Notice the difference that you'll feel from side to side. Go ahead and let that first arm go down. It succeeded its task in getting an apple. We need one more on the other side. Inhale, feel tall, really grounded here. Exhale, reaching over, up high and over. More up high than over. Inhale, come back to center. First one got away from it. Second one, reaching up and over. More up than over. Inhale, back to center. One more. We're going to get it this time. Remember, those shoulders stay square to the front. Exhale, over, reaching, just a tiny bit more. Go ahead and bring that apple down. Let that arm come down by your side. Oh, save that apple for later. Notice the openness that you feel across your rib cage on both sides of your body. That's the lateral extension that we do for the spine. The next increment is we're going to go forward and back with the spine. These are subtle movements. And we're going to do it with two characterizations. One is called the wings of the cormorant, and the wings of any bird look like this as you draw out to the wings, kind of like the letter W. We're going to call that the wings of the cormorant, which is a bird that lives down in Florida. It fishes for its meals, and after it catches its meals, it sits on the power lines and spreads its wings out so they dry. This is to open up the front chest area and get a slight backward bend. The second part, we're going to draw our arms around and pretend like we're hugging a tree. So I live in Western North Carolina, and we have a million trees out here. So we know how to hug trees out here. Inhale, we open back up to the wings of the cormorant. Allow your shoulders to come back and down to the best of your ability. Feel the spread of your wings here. When you exhale, draw around. You're going to hug this imaginary tree. And it's COVID, so we're not hugging people, but we can hug trees out here in Western North Carolina. Inhale, open up to the wings of the cormorant. Let's get one more hearty hug here of a tree. Feel the openness across your upper back here if you can while you're hugging this imaginary tree. Inhale, back open the wings of the cormorant. And we're going to be here for just a couple of breaths. I'd like you to notice how your shoulders back and down. You feel like your shoulder blades in your upper back are coming together. You feel like there's tiny little anchors where each elbow is, and they're pulling downward towards the floor. Last exhale here. Allow your arms to release, relax, and come down by your sides. Notice if there's anything left over in your shoulders, and you can roll each of those shoulders out if so. Trying to get a sense of relaxation here and peacefulness. Then we bring both of our hands together directly in front of the heart. We're going to do what's called a gentle spinal twist here. So think about how big your heart is with your hands right in front of your heart here. Inhale, feel tall to the best of your ability from your sit bone all the way to the crown of your head. When you exhale, you're going to hinge over and twist to a side here. Just notice your range of motion. When you're ready to inhale, you're going to come back to center. And when you exhale, you guide yourself over to the other side. No rush. Take it easy on yourself. Recognize your range of motion here. Inhale back to center. 2 more visits to each side, please. Each exhale, you twist over to a side here, noticing your range of motion, getting more familiar with your physiology, and hopefully finding some joy in just being with yourself. Whether you love yourself or you're just a friend with yourself, just the joy of being with yourself is really important. And you might notice on this last one here, has your range of motion stayed the same throughout, or might it increase slightly? Don't be surprised if it did increase slightly. When you come back to the center point here, allow your arms to come back down, come onto your upper legs here. The next one we're going to progress to, I call it the heel slide. It's a contralateral movement. That means we're going to move 2 limbs that are on opposite sides of the body from one another. This is kind of like a dance. And I'm not very good at dances. And so know that I totally respect the fact that this is difficult, but it also uses both sides of the brain at the same time as we do these movements. So what I do, I'll turn catty corner, and I'm hopeful that this will be more helpful for you, hopeful, if that's true. I move my sit bone up forward on the chair so that I have a better range of motion with my leg, both my legs. I'll show you what this looks like first. During the inhale, we heel slide, that heel extends out. During the exhale, it's contralateral. So that leg and the contralateral arm, which is on the other side of the body, lifts up, attempting to get them parallel to the floor. Next inhale, that foot comes down. Next exhale, everything comes back to the home site. Then we go to the other side. Inhale, heel slide out. Exhale with the contralateral lift here. Inhale, that foot comes back down. Exhale, everything comes back home to the beginning point. This is our goal. Do the best that you can in following with me. or do a portion thereof that's most suitable for your physiology. One of the lessons that we learn after a brain injury is things that we can do, things that we can't do, and things that we modify to do the best that we can relative to our ability level. So I encourage you to find what works best for you during this, and don't treat it as one dance that has to be done one way. It's like life; it can be done your way. Inhale, extend that heel out. Exhale with the contralateral lift. Notice how this feels in both your leg and your torso and your arm. Inhale, that foot comes down. Exhale, both limbs come back home to the starting point. The other side here, inhale, we extend that heel out. Exhale, we bring that contralateral lift up, attempting to get parallel to the floor. And exhale, we draw that foot down. Inhale, it comes back home again. Let's go through this one more time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contralateral lift. Inhale, that foot comes down. Exhale, it comes back home. Other side. Inhale, extend. Exhale, contralateral lift. Inhale, that foot comes down. Exhale, everything comes back home. Excellent. Congratulations. I'll get back square to you once again. Next, I'm going to walk through you we're going to build what's called the sitting mountain. The mountain is a pose that I learned in yoga. I learned it through yoga. And what it did for me personally, it helped me better understand my physiology and just to take a moment, a couple minutes just to be with my body. And I hope you can take a couple of these moments and be with yourself just as you are with your physiology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you words and ideas and suggestions, and I'd like you, to the best of your ability, to be with your body and notice how it feels and what you're able to recognize. So as we begin our seated version here of the yoga mountain, I'd like for you to have an opportunity just to allow your hands to be as restful as possible in your lap. We won't be using them in the near term there. Notice how your feet feel on the floor. The dissipation of your weight is happening down through your bum and the seat of the chair. So perhaps your feet feel very, very light down there on the surface of the floor. Or perhaps you have a pillow or a cushion for them. If you can, you might consider pressing the ball of the foot into the floor so the heel comes up just slightly. You might even feel your toes gripping down into the floor. Just notice how that feels. Go ahead and relax. Allow your foot to come back to as equal as you can. Go ahead and press the heel down into the floor, lift the toes up, maybe even lift the ball up off the floor if you can. Go ahead and allow it to relax and come back down again. We can do an inversion of the feet. That's when both of the inside of the feet come towards one another. Outside of the feet come off the mat just slightly. Just notice what that feels like. Go back to center again, balance. And then eversion, so you're drawing your feet towards the outer edge and the inner edge comes up just slightly, if they can for you. Just notice what that feels like. Then draw them back to equally grounded down there. Then what we do is we're going to head up through the body. As we go past the ankles, we come to the shins. The shin is the area where the calves are located. You might just notice any feeling sensation that you have down there. You might even consider isometrically drawing those two shins towards one another. They don't actually move, but what you're doing is you're putting the intention into the circuitry of the musculature in order to draw them together. And notice if you have a feeling sensation. Then we come up to the knees. Knees are normally relaxed in this position on the chair. You might just notice how they're feeling for you. As you come up further to the quadriceps, many muscles around both of the femur bones there, but they are perhaps right now just in a completely restful state. As you come into your pelvis, you'll notice your sit bones, that feeling sensation that you have down there, sense of groundedness there. You might just rock them just ever so slightly from left to right to have a greater feeling sensation there. Just a sense of noticing of your neutrality down there, if that feels like the right place for your pelvis from a balance standpoint. Then as we come up to the abdominal area, that's where the stomach is located and also where the gut is. Remember that when people used to have now everybody has a camera. Back in the old days, when just a few people had a camera and they were getting ready to take a picture, and what happened with us guys is some guy would say, "Suck in your gut." So we would engage the abdominals. So if we had a belly, it would look smaller. And we would also be taller. So what we'd like to do is that similar attribute right now, not for a photograph, but in order for us to have a greater sense of engagement. When the abdominals make a slight level of engagement, they support the lower back. That gives the better grounding for the torso. Go ahead now and exhale all the air out of your lungs. Really push it out. On the next inhale, can you take your shoulders up towards your ears? Push them back. Allow them to drop down into their natural rested position. We're going to check in with the arms next. Just noticing. Go ahead and notice what you feel or any sensations that you have in your upper arms, both your elbows, your forearms, both your wrists. The two hands, fingers, and thumbs, hopefully just resting by your side here. And as we come back into the center part of the body, we head up, notice your heart, give your heart a loving hug, or at least be friends with your heart, and head up further to the neck and also to the head. Notice the position, if you can perceive it, of your noggin on top of your spine. Notice, is it possible for you to move your head back just a fraction of an inch on top of your spine? And in so doing, do you feel taller, or do you notice a lighterness of your noggin on top of your spine? Go ahead and give yourself a nice hearty inhale. Imagine how tall you feel all the way up to the crown of your head. And a grounded, restful exhale, rooted and stable relative to the base of support that you're receiving from your chair. I'm going to walk you through your body again. Let's see how many pieces you connected with and you can still feel. Let's go back down there through the soles of both of those feet. Notice your feeling sensation that you have down there. As you come up past the ankles into the shins, remember we isometrically drawn through them together earlier. What feeling sensations do you have there? What do you notice about your knees further up on the body? As you come up to the upper legs, how do they feel currently in structural groundedness here on the chair? How are those sit bones feeling? Have a sense of neutrality down there in your pelvis? And from your sit bone all the way up to the crown of your head, you feel lifted to the sky. One of the things my wife says periodically is, imagine you have a helium-filled balloon taped to the top of your head and take a hearty, good inhale. Notice how it rises up just slightly. And a nice, rooted, grounded exhale. This is your seated mountain pose. This is what it feels like. This is how we can be with the body in just a short period of time. We're going to do a couple of moving attributes now. We did bring this resistance band with us. If you have one of these, you have an opportunity now to use it. Please don't, if you don't have it, you don't need to use it. You can do the same motion I'm going to do it without the resistance band. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the resistance band underneath my legs here, down onto the seat of the chair, and I'm going to attempt to get them about even underneath my legs. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my hands to either end here. And I'm going to try to make sure I keep my legs grounded enough so there's enough pressure here on my legs to hold the resistance band steady. What we're going to do is we're going to draw straightly up overhead. We're going to inhale and draw up and see if our arms can frame our ears. We're going to exhale. We're going to come back down again. Now, if that was particularly difficult, then do the motion without the resistance band. Inhale up. Exhale back down. If you went in your kitchen and you got those cans out, remember, inhale up. Want those arms to frame the ears. Exhale, they come back down again. And if you're the kind of person that you just have weights, or someone you know has little tiny dumbbell weights, inhale up. Exhale back down. We're going to do two more here. The first goal is your range of motion. That's what we want to accomplish first, is the ability to do it, to feel synchronous, to have a sense of comfort in your body as you go through this. Exhale back down. Inhale fully up. Exhale back down. Relax. Notice the enlightenment that you might feel now up in your shoulders relative to that movement. It's called the moving mountain. The next one is the moving mountain with a twist And we're going to do this one without any weight, and we're just going to do it single-handed. So get as vertical as you can from the sit bone to the crown of the head. Try to stay vertical. On the inhale, draw one arm up forward, parallel to the floor. Go ahead and look at that palm. On the exhale, guide yourself out, twisting outward ever so gracefully, gently. Inhale back to center. Exhale, allow that hand to come down back onto your lap again. The other side, inhale that arm up parallel to the floor. Let's let the eyes focus on that palm. As we exhale and gently guide outward for a nice easy twist. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, drawing down. One more on either side. Inhale up, looking at that palm. Exhale, guiding out. Inhale back to center. Exhale, drawing down. Balance this out. Other side. Inhale up. Exhale, twisting out. Inhale back to center. Exhale, down. I keep talking about the breath in association with the movement, planting a seed in the hope that you're more oriented towards the cycle of keeping your breath full and deep, and you recognize the value the body receives from full, hearty breath. Our next one that we're progressing to is our opportunity to do a version of an opening of the arms to various different distances. We call it the Warrior One. Its arms are going to go in low, medium, high, touchdown, and then wings of a cormorant. So let me give you an idea, show you what this looks like. You can use the resistance band if you have good, strong, hardy muscles and would like to. I'm going to start first just to do the range of motion to get the feeling sensation. So what we do is, number one, we bring our arms in and hug our heart here. Nice heart hug with the arms. Next, inhale, the arms are going to go low towards the floor. Exhale, bring those hands back in. Give your heart a nice hug here. Inhale, the arms go medium. They're parallel to the floor. Exhale, your arms back in. Give the heart a hug. Inhale, they go high like the letter Y. Exhale, your hands come back in. Give your heart a hug. Inhale, they come up like touchdown. Football season has started. Exhale, they come back in. Give the heart a nice hug. And inhale, they come out to what's called the wings of the cormorant. And I'd like you to just, to the best of your ability, just be with this sensation for the next 45 seconds. What I'd like for you to feel is a sense of alignment and engagement, idea that you can be structurally sound here. Remember to keep those abdominals just slightly engaged. They do support the lower back. Remember, we'd like the shoulders to be back and down. Want a good spread of the wings. And can you imagine like there's tiny weights that are attached to each of your elbows, and what they do is they pull your wings slightly downward. While at the same time, can your breath stay hearty and full, both during the inhale and the exhale, with a good sense of openness. Last exhale, allow those arms to rest. You can roll the shoulders out. Notice if there's anything left over in your physiology relative to the warrior. We're going to go to the warrior two next. And for the warrior two, we spread our arms out and keep them parallel to the floor. Really going to recognize how your shoulders are feeling today and those deltoid muscles. During the inhale, face your palms up towards the ceiling. Draw your arms up to the best of your ability. With your upper arms, frame your ears. During the exhale, back down again, parallel to the floor. Follow to the best of your ability. Inhale, drawing upwards, reaching high. Exhale, extending out, palms facing down, coming back parallel to the floor. Inhale, we draw up. Exhale, we draw back parallel to the floor. I'm starting to feel this now in my shoulders and my deltoids. Inhale up. Exhale, back down. Let's just pause here for a moment and notice the feeling sensation that you have in your shoulders doing this. Can you imagine that there's something on either side of you, just outside of the reach of your fingers, and you're going to reach for it just to see if you can touch it? Notice the openness that brings to your shoulders. And on the next exhale, can you in slow motion, very, very slowly, draw the arms back down to your side? Super duper slow, no rush, super duper slow. They come back into either side. And just rest there for a moment. We're going to do the flat back forward fold next, sometimes called tying your shoes. So what we're going to do is a nice sit in the chair here. That sense of vertical alignment, our hands are here on our upper legs. As we guide our hands forward to the knees, and as they go down to the lower legs here, want to attempt to the best of our ability to hinge forward at the hip crease, while the shoulders stay back and down. As we navigate, see how close can we get to our ankles, or maybe even to our shoes or shoelaces. And we come back up again. Notice, do you have the energy in your physiology to draw you up, or do you need help from your hands? If you need help from your hands, bring them up above your knees. Draw back up again. And the next exhale, glide forward, hands reaching forward to the knees, perhaps around the knees. Drops down the shins towards the ankles, maybe even to your shoelace. Inhale, draw back up again. Just have this sense of awareness of how your body feels going through this movement, both your range of motion, your flexibility, and the strength that you have to gracefully come in and out of this particular routine. Drawing back up and out. And allow yourself to relax just for a moment there. I would like to bring you into a state of fully listening. I have something that I'd like to share with you. It's a little relaxation, kind of like a mindfulness meditation. And what it does is allows yourself to just be with yourself in this moment. So we've made many check-ins with the body relative to being with our physiology, and this is more mental and consciousness. But go ahead and be as relaxed as you can. Plant those feet down on the floor, get that sense of comfort, adjust them as necessary. Adjust your bum in the chair to feel a sense of, okay, I'm ready, I can listen here. And from the sit bone to your crown of your head, can you remain vertical and allow your hands to come to a rest in your lap here? And just allow yourself to be in a listening, open state, and notice what comes to your mind. We don't need to go anywhere for several minutes here as I read this to you. And this comes from 30 scripts for relaxation, imagery, and inner healing. An opportunity for each of us together to be personally with ourselves. If you're feeling comfortable, you can go ahead and close your eyes. I will not do any dancing, circus acts, or performance. I'm going to sit and read. Allow yourself to begin settling down, to sit in the silent venue that you have there, with my voice being perhaps the only thing that you are hearing, unless you have pets. My wife has 2 pets, so we know about the noises that pets make, and that's perfectly fine. Bring your attention to your breath. As you breathe out, imagine any stress in your body is passing out with the exhaled air. Just feel the stress passing out of your body and drifting afar, far, far away, leaving you refreshed, happy, and very relaxed. Let yourself be as comfortable as you are willing to allow yourself to be. There's no place you need to go right now. Nothing that you need to do. No problem that needs your attention right now. Let yourself begin feeling centered. Just let yourself relax. Let yourself relax more and more. As your eyelids grow heavier and heavier, your breathing becomes deeper and slower and more rhythmic. A deep, slow, regular, rhythmic breath is very important in helping your body and mind relax. It initiates the parasympathetic nervous system. It's very calming. Allow all the immediate worries and preoccupations of the day to slip away. They'll still be there in an hour. Now, let your mind drift back over the recent months and years and ask yourself, where am I in my life right now? Imagine that you are looking at your life in the way an art historian might look at a painter's life. Pablo Picasso, famous painter, he had a blue period, a pink period, a cubist period, and a dozen other periods. So what has been the major periods of your own life? Just ponder that. What would your present period be? What are the characteristics of this period in your life? What name would you give to this particular time of your lifespan? What is the period of your life in which you find yourself right now? This period may have begun very recently, or it may extend back many, many years. It may have started with a new relationship, a job, a change, a move, something that was transitional in your life, which includes health issues. Perhaps it began as an idea for a new project, perhaps a togetherness, a partnership, a birth of a child in a relationship, a close friend. Or perhaps it was an illness or an injury, a loss that you felt, a separation in your life from yourself, or from yourself and someone else, or even a death. Is the current period of your lifetime of hard work or a time of peaceful relaxation and quiet? Is it of satisfaction or of dissatisfaction? Is it a time of ending or a time of beginning? Perhaps it began with an easily identifiable event, or it may be a period characterized by a generalized quality of a certain feeling, a pervasive enthusiasm, or a cloud of depression. Perhaps this is the time of renewal, or is it a time of midlife or other changing attributes that occurs through our time on the planet? Let your mind wander and just be with the moment. Don't attempt to direct your thinking. Let your mind go. Allow your intuition and your inner knowing to give you some insight. Simply sit in silence and allow the thoughts and feelings to come, to allow the movement of this most recent period of your life to emerge. Without analyzing or judging, just let it be. Just let it be. Simply allow yourself to be in a condition of openness, of readiness, and allow the boundaries and characteristics of this present period of your life to take full shape, to fully emerge into your beingness. You may find that spontaneous answers to these questions begin to suggest themselves to you. What is this present period of your life currently? How far back does it go? What event marked it off? what has been the main characteristics of this period of your life? What will you call this period of your life? And what is the path you now need to travel as you go forward? What is it now that you most need to empower yourself to do? Just notice what comes to you or through you or is manifest. Sometimes we get seeds that are planted within us and they don't all grow, but some of them do. And you recognize an emergence, you water and nurture that growth, you notice it bloom, and you recognize the seasonality of all things. I would like for you now to gradually return your attention to your breathing. Feel the air passing out just as it passes back in again. Go ahead and be one with your fingers, might wiggle them and notice how they feel. Check down with your toes, wiggle those toes, notice how they feel. You might just notice a hearty inhale and just how tall you feel on the inhale, and a balancing exhale and how that feels as you release your breath outward. We bring this little script to a close, and I'd like to walk you through a subtle breath routine as we bring our routine together to a close. The breath is one of the most accessible attributes we have to just be with ourselves in the moment, to notice how we feel, to give ourselves the self-grounding, to actually love ourselves, or be friends with ourselves just in the here and now, to try to get away from all the stuff that's happening on the exterior, or even sometimes the mind is doing too many things all at once. It's multitasking, and it's just overwhelming. Let's try, to the best of our ability, to be with our breath. I'll walk you through it. Be as comfortable as you can in your chair there. You can go ahead and even lean back and allow your back to touch the backrest. That helps you, gives a greater sense of rest and relaxation, or maybe put a little pillow back in behind you. I'm going to walk you through this breath routine. We start with what's called the 4-1-4-1 breath. That's inhaling to a count of 4, pause for 1. Exhale for a matching count of 4, pause for 1. The length of each number counting is totally up to you. You decide what works best for you. If numbers absolutely don't work for you, then take the names of 4 people you love, 4 animals you love, 4 flowers you love, 4 trees, 4 things you love. And go through those 4 things as you inhale. And take one of those things and be with it as you pause. And go back to those 4 things as you exhale. It's inhale to a count of 4. Slight pause. Exhale to a count of 4. Slight pause. Keep this ratio up. I can't do the numbers for you. You have to do them for yourself because each body is unique in how it does the counting in terms of how long it takes. And we're seeking to find your comfort zone. Each comfort zone for each body is individualized. To the best of your ability, stay with this routine. That's all I'm going to ask from you from this point forward. Concentrate on your breath. Each inhale, you count to 4. A slight pause. Each exhale, you count to 4, followed by a slight pause. If you have a mind that likes to do things, you might notice then the increased capacity of your lungs, how large you actually get in your physiology at the peak of that inhale. And the movement sensations that happen in the body relative to helping push the air out. That's perfectly fine. That's a part of you. It's part of what makes the lungs work properly and randomly. If the breath work is going good for you and you realize I can do a little bit more, we're going to do a little bit more. The next step is inhale for a count of 4, pause for 2. Exhale for a matching count of 4, pause for 2. We're going to increase the pause. Keep going at your breath rate. Each time you inhale, go to a count of 4, pause for 2. Each time you exhale, go for a count of 4. Once again, pause for 2. Please keep exploring. Don't be surprised if your mind empties out. That's a goal, that's a desired attribute, that's a destination. Very few of us get there, but that's the goal, is to feel complete content, just being with yourself, just being with your breath. And nothing else is interfering or coming into that space. It's you being with yourself. Hopefully you're noticing a calmness that's coming with you, 4-2, 4-2 breath. A sense of enlivenment and openness and a greater calmness. And perhaps you even feel a sense of expansion. If the 4-2, 4-2 breath is going well for you and you'd like to extend one more element, one more step, if not, stay right where you are. But if you're ready to go one more step, the next step is 6-6-3. You inhale for count 6. You exhale for a matching count of 6, and you pause for 3. It's called the 6-6-3. Inhale for count of 6. Exhale for a matching count of 6, and pause for 3. For just 90 more seconds, notice if you can, 6-6-3. I'll do the counting on this end. Actually, I have a clock with a second hand. Just relax and be with yourself on that end. And perhaps just subtly notice how much conscious attention is required in order to facilitate this. Or how much does your mind, oh, this is easy, I got it. Just let me be. There's just 20 more seconds here. Perhaps you might have noticed that your breath rate has slowed down in terms of the number of breaths per minute. That's very healthy for the sympathetic nervous system. Perhaps you feel more quieter, a little bit more relaxed. Please let this be your last 6-6-3 breath. Go ahead and allow yourself to find your natural rhythm of your breath. I think I mentioned 50 minutes earlier. I had a full allotment of 60, and so we're actually at 58 minutes and 45 seconds. So we've come almost to the very close. I thank you so much for joining me today for this experience of just being together and to actually be with your body, with your consciousness, and to see the value of self-care. I wish you a hearty wellness, self-care at each and every day, facilitated for yourself, and a network of family and extended family that are willing to support you to your greatest health and well-being. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you a great continuation with your brain injury of North Carolina experience here at the virtual camp of 2024.